What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Another episode from Acura Honda Classic on a brand new project, Acura TL Type-S. And today on this episode, we'll be putting everything back together. On the previous episode, you see some of the guys taking everything apart. Miguel and also John that's not here right now took everything apart. And today, I think the boys are gonna go ahead and get everything cleaned up and put everything back together. What is the step, Miguel?
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead, like you said, get everything cleaned up, prepped, ready to go, HondaBond on all the areas that it needs. We're going to go ahead and put the oil filter filler housing on, water pump, timing belt, get all that stuff buttoned up, get the motor in time, and I think we should be good to go from there.
Yeah, I think one of the parts that I kind of want everyone to see is how you guys set the timing. I think it's very important.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have questioned how to set the timing on the V6 motor.
Yeah.
And on this video, we're gonna show you and demonstrate how we're actually gonna do that. So stay with us. We have a lot to cover here.
So we have the front crank seal here, and the thing about the front crank seal is it has a spring-loaded riding seal here. So if you go to put this on the crank and you just push it straight in, you're gonna roll the seal over and have a massive oil leak. So a little trick someone taught me years ago is to put it on one side, load up the spring, and slide it over. This way it makes sure that you don't roll the lip over on here and have a failure. And after this, we're just going to tap it right on in. Push in with our fingers. I like to use this handy dandy extension and a little hammer.
Alright guys, so this is final result. The crank seal. It look really good. Alright, let's go check out what Miguel's doing over here. Alright, so look like Miguel's just like the oil pump, just laying some HondaBond right on it. Man, those are perfect beat too. Look at that. Alright, so it looks like Miguel spraying the HondaBond all around the oil pan. Man, it looked perfect. Great job, Miguel. Let's find out what John is doing now. Alright, so it looks like John's got an O-ring and he was gonna be putting on this oil pickup here, and without this O-ring, you're gonna have a big problem because you're not gonna have any oil pressure. Oh yeah, he agreed. All right, yeah. So pretty simple here. Put it back up here. A couple of bolts, and right after this, Miguel gonna be bolting down the oil pan. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so what's John doing now? John is just putting the motor up a little bit so the oil pan can slide right through the subframe here. All right, here we go. Alright guys, so we got the oil pan, oil pump back together with a bunch of HondaBond, and Miguel is about to put this
Oil filter housing. Been fully rebuilt, new seal, new gasket, ready to go on.
Let's take a look. Alright guys, so the oil filter housing is on. We'll go ahead and remove the water pump now. Alright, so Miguel about to pry the water pump off and start draining some of the coolant. Let's take a look at it. What do you say, Brian?
Man, I'm not sure what's better, that or this pizza right here.
They do look pretty good.
It is lightly baked because that's the key. You never want to burn a pizza. A real Italian never burns a pizza. That's
Hold on. Question?
Yeah.
Off the knife.
Yes.
Pineapple or no pineapple?
Never put pineapple on a pizza. That is a disrespect to a real Italian. That right there is a fake Italian.
Guys, comment below pineapple or no pineapple
That's
on pizza.
right.
No pineapple. No pineapple.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
Okay,
Oh, here we go.
water pump.
What are these over here?
This is just from the leak up top. I believe this is from the power steering pump. So it's a good place to look for.
So how do you inspect a water pump if it's good or not?
Well, I mean, okay, so if the water pump doesn't leak and the car doesn't overheat, typically we say, okay, it's good. But as the mileage increases at around 100,000 miles or so, I mean, this is driven by the water pump. The timing belt drives the water pump. So if a bearing fails here, you could damage the engine due to a timing belt failure. So we always want to replace this as we do the timing belt. It's a part of the service.
So from time to time, do you guys, like, once you remove the water pump, or even before you remove the water pump, you kind of turn it, make sure that no extra
make sure there wasn't
resistance?
any foul play there to begin with.
Right.
So water pumps can fail, and you would notice a leak in the front of the engine, which would come from here, which would indicate that the seal failed internal.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But no leaks, no nothing. We're changing this just for maintenance purpose.
So in terms of replacing the new pump, what do you have to do? Do you have to put HondaBond or anything like that?
No, I don't like to put any HondaBond on there. I mean, Honda didn't. So this is a machine fit. The block's a machine fit. You bolt it up. It should never leak.
All right. So just this little rubber seal right here.
That's it. That's all that does the trick.
Gotcha.
Yeah, man. Honda engineering. Okay, new water pump. Getting ready to install it. Button it up. On to the next step. Just like the water pump, you want to check these pulleys. Make sure that they're not rough or smooth, so you know you're good to go. So these two bolts here for the pulleys and the timing cover, we found out that the specs on them are super light. So we've seen where the bolts actually fail and they break in the block due to over tighten them. So I would really stress using a torque wrench, tighten them to the proper spec. That way you don't have any failure.
All right, so the water pump is in, and then the pulleys is in, and then John is back with us after he gone to the bathroom for about 20 minutes.
It seemed more like 40, but I'll go with 20.
35, yeah, good enough. So I think he's about to put in the timing belt now. Let's talk about that.
All right, so the neat thing is all these V6 J series motors with a single overhead cam, they're very similar in the layout when it comes to the timing. You have three basic marks to mark TDC. You have this mark right here, and you can see the cam gear actually says cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So when you're setting timing, you know. You line that mark up with the mark on the case. You do the same thing on this back cam gear and the same on the crank. So once you have all those marked up, you already know you're on TDC number 1. That's top dead center number 1. So that's piston up number 1, compression stroke, all valves closed. So once you have it in this orientation, it's usually where you are when you take the old belt off. But the other thing that's interesting about it is that every single J series is about the same. From the 3 liter up to the 3.7, you're going to see the same setup as far as the timing goes. There are some different tensioners, but other than that, it's really neat. This kind of covers all that stuff. Now, here's our old belt. It has been changed before. It's not cracked, it's not beat up, but we're going to go ahead and we're changing it out just to be safe. You know, kind of a rule of thumb is if you can't see the writing on the belt, it's pretty done. There ain't nothing left on that. So what we have next is the new belt right here in the package. We're going to pop that open and slip it on here. What do we got? Here's here's all the Honda insignia on here. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to catch the bottom on the crank pulley. Slide right on. Once that's on, you always want to run it away from the tensioner. So you want to start here, catch your pulleys, get it right in the groove, making sure that there's not excessive slack, and just continue to snake it right along under the water pump. And then right over here we go, right onto the back cam. That thing.
I didn't catch that.
Oh, Siri's been listening to me. Just like that. Now, I always, as a precaution, because cam gears can move, I saw this one move just a little bit. Usually it's okay, it's within the margin here, but I always double check my timing's still on its mark, still on its mark, still on its mark. Now we can go ahead and pull the pin out of the tensioner, set the tension, and this timing belt's done.
Come on, man. Too easy.
All right, so we just put the lower time belt cover on, and And before the crank pulley goes on, probably one of the most important parts with the timing belt is this guide. So the guide is kind of flared, cupped on the edges, and what this does is it helps keep the timing belt in place and on track. So you want to make sure you put this in the right way and put it on. If you don't put it on, you're going to shred your timing belt.
Alright, well, looks like the timing belt covers, everything's back together. It looks fantastic, man. What do you think, Brian?
You know, I don't know much about engines, but I trust what you guys are doing. And, you know, I can make the engine bay a little bit more pretty. So I heard you guys got some for me.
Talking about that, the valve covers.
Right, so the valve covers, remember when we picked them up earlier, and we just want to refresh them. I don't want to buy new ones. And I think it's a great project for everyone to see how to do. You can do it in your own house.
So how are you going to do it?
We're going to run to the parts store, right? And I don't know too much about what needs to be taped off and what can get water or cleaner. So you're going to show me that. And then I'm going to show you how to scuff it up, what paint to get. We'll go over to AutoZone. And
also, are we doing just like a spray can?
Spray can.
So anybody can do it at home?
Don't need to use automotive paint out of a spray gun. Nothing fancy. Do-it-yourself project, which I think a lot of the guys will appreciate.
I think so.
Yeah.
Just, you know, people can do it at home.
Yep.
This could be a nice weekend project.
So yeah, we'll set up a table. We're not even gonna go into paint booths, none of that. We'll show you what you need to get, and when they're done, they should look just like they came out, you know, from the press or however they're done at the factory. So stay tuned. That'll be the next video probably in this series.
Absolutely.
And then we'll get them back in the car and then continue with it. So
yeah, because right after that, we'll put a valve cover back on, put an intake manifold and all the good stuff back together. Then we are going to drop the transmission, replace the clutch. Then after that, we'll hand it back to you so you can do some of the cosmetic stuff.
Yeah, the cosmetic stuff. I know you guys, a couple of comments. How do you put the front lip on? So we read the comments. We want to make sure our viewers have a good communication so they can see what we're doing, and we want to show you how to do it. It's not hard, but if you don't do it right, you'll mess it up. So
yeah. Well, I hope you liked the video. If you do, hit that subscribe button and the like button, and we see you guys on the next one.
And thank you for helping us rebuild our community. See you guys in the next one.